Okay, so today we're going to be looking at website security.
Specifically for Aussie small businesses.
Yeah. Using Wordfence.
Right.
And we're looking at a blog post from Now Technology Systems.
Yeah, they're an Aussie web design company, and they put together like a really practical guide to using Wordfence.
Yeah, by the end of this deep dive.
You'll understand not just how it works,
Yeah.
but why it's so important for your business in Australia.
Yeah, I love how they kind of tie it all together.
Yeah.
Like the Australian digital landscape.
Well, they describe it as like the outback.
Yeah.
You know, like the outback is beautiful but wild.
Yeah,
Your website needs that same protection,
I like that.
rugged protection.
So, why Wordfence? There's a lot of other security plugins out there.
Yeah, well, Wordfence is globally really popular,
Okay.
which means it's been really rigorously tested.
Right.
But for us, what really matters is it tackles the specific challenges we see in Australia.
Yeah.
Cyber attacks are on the rise, targeting
Yeah.
businesses of all sizes. And we also have these evolving data protection regulations.
Right. Yeah.
Things like the Privacy Act,
Yeah.
the Notifiable Data Breaches scheme.
Mhm.
Wordfence helps you stay on the right side of the law.
Okay, so it's not just about preventing those attacks.
Yeah.
It's about being compliant.
Absolutely.
Yeah, with Australian law.
Saves you those nasty fines,
Exactly.
which would really hurt a small business.
Yeah, okay, so before we get into the actual setup
Yes.
of Wordfence.
2 things you need to do before you even install it.
Okay.
The guide really stresses this.
Okay.
First, you need full admin access to your WordPress site.
Right.
You wouldn't give someone a key to your shop if they weren't allowed in there.
Makes sense.
And the second thing
What's that?
is backups.
Okay.
You need a complete backup of your entire website before you install any plugin.
Right.
Not even just Wordfence.
Yeah.
It's like an insurance policy. If
Yeah.
anything goes wrong,
Right.
you can always restore your site without losing anything.
Great advice.
So the guide breaks the setup into 5 steps.
Okay.
Starting with the installation.
Okay, so step 1, installation.
The installation is really straightforward.
Yes.
You find Wordfence in the WordPress plugin, directory, click install,
Right.
activate it.
Yeah.
Super user-friendly, even if you're not tech-savvy.
Okay, great.
Where things get interesting is step 2,
Right.
configuring the firewall.
Firewall time.
Yeah.
For those who aren't super techie,
Yeah.
what is a firewall?
It's like a security guard
Oh.
posted at the entrance to your website.
Right.
It analyzes every single request
Okay.
coming to your site, and it checks if it's legitimate traffic
Yeah.
or a potential threat.
Okay.
Wordfence's firewall is really good at blocking these common attacks,
Yep.
like DDoS attacks,
Right.
where hackers try to overwhelm your site with traffic,
Right.
or SQL injection, where they try to sneak malicious code into your database
So it's actively blocking those bad guys.
24/7.
Okay, great. So Wordfence offers a few different levels of protection.
Right.
You got basic and extended,
Basic and extended.
but here's what's clever.
Right.
Their automatic configuration guide
Yes.
helps you choose the right level
Yeah.
based on your hosting environment.
Yes.
And it ensures you're complying with Australian data protection regulations.
Exactly.
So it's like having a security system that's already up to code.
Exactly like having a security system that's already up the code.
That's reassuring, especially for someone like me who's not a security expert.
Yeah.
So we've installed Wordfence, we've set up the firewall.
What's next?
What is next?
Step 3 is where Wordfence gets to work. The initial security scan.
Okay.
Think of it as a health check
Right.
for your entire website.
Okay.
It scans your files, your database, plugins, everything.
Okay.
Looking for any vulnerabilities or malware?
So after this scan, we just sit back and relax.
Not quite.
Our website is officially secure.
The scan is just the first step.
Okay.
Wordfence will give you a detailed report.
Right.
And it's crucial that you address any issues that it finds.
Okay.
And you address them promptly.
Okay.
Because remember, the Australian cybersecurity landscape is constantly evolving. So
Right.
staying on top of those potential vulnerabilities is essential.
So it's not just a one-time thing.
No.
It's about actively.
It's about actively maintaining.
Yeah, maintaining that security.
Exactly. And that's where the next 2 steps come in.
Right.
Step 4 focuses on login security.
Okay, let's talk logins.
Okay.
What does Wordfence do to beef up security there?
It starts with 2-factor authentication,
Right.
or 2FA.
Yeah.
This means that on top of your password, you need a second piece of information to log in.
Okay.
Usually a code sent to your phone or email.
Right.
Think of it like this.
Yeah.
If someone steals your house key,
Right.
but your door also has a deadbolt, they still can't get in.
Right.
2-factor authentication adds that extra layer of protection.
So passwords themselves are also important.
Absolutely.
We've all heard about those data breaches where people use really weak passwords.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Wordfence helps you enforce strong password policies.
So what does that mean?
That means setting rules for how complex passwords need to be.
Right.
Things like minimum length requiring numbers and symbols, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Wordfence can actually check existing passwords
Okay.
and tell users to update them if they're not strong enough.
So no more password 123.
No more password 123.
Remember that story you told me about the company that got hacked because an employee used their pet's name as their password?
Yeah.
That was rough.
Millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Strong passwords are essential.
Yeah.
Speaking of staying vigilant,
Yes.
the final step Wordfence recommends is real-time monitoring.
Okay, so tell me more about this real-time monitoring.
Wordfence has this feature called live traffic.
Okay.
It's like having a security camera feed
Right.
for your website. You can see who's visiting your site right now,
Oh, wow.
where they're coming from,
Wow.
what they're doing.
Wow.
This helps you spot suspicious activity, like
Wow.
repeated login attempts from an unknown IP address,
Right.
or a sudden spike in traffic
All right. Yeah.
from a country you don't usually get visitors from.
So it's not just about blocking attacks.
Right.
It's about giving you the information
It's about empowering you
to be proactive.
to take action.
Right.
You're not just waiting for something bad to happen.
Yeah.
You're monitoring your site and taking steps to mitigate risks.
Okay. I'm already feeling a bit more empowered knowing all this is possible.
Good.
But I'm also wondering about the impact of all this security
Yeah.
on my website.
That's a fantastic question.
Isn't there a risk that all these checks and these scans could slow things down?
And that's one we'll definitely delve into further.
Okay.
That's a common concern,
Yeah.
especially for small businesses
Right.
where every millisecond counts. You want to be secure, but you don't want to drive customers away with a slow website.
Exactly, because a slow website is just bad for business.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how do we find that balance? I guess that's something we'll explore in the next part of this deep dive.
Absolutely. We'll look at how to optimize Wordfence
Cool.
and discuss some broader strategies for keeping your site fast and secure.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
So we covered all the basics of Wordfence.
The installation.
Yeah, the firewall setup, the scan,
Yeah.
login security with like 2FA.
Right. All that good stuff.
But you brought up something really important.
Yeah.
At the end of the last segment,
What was that?
the impact of all this security on website speed.
Yeah.
I think that's something a lot of small business owners worry about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a valid concern.
Yeah.
You know, you've invested all this time and effort in making your website user-friendly.
Right.
And the last thing you want is for all these security measures to slow things down.
Right, because a slow website,
Frustrate visitors.
yeah, people would just click away,
Exactly.
take their business elsewhere.
And that's bad for business.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the question is,
Yeah.
how do we balance that robust security
Right.
with a website that performs well?
Well, first of all, it's important to understand that Wordfence is designed to be efficient.
Okay.
It's constantly being updated and optimized
Right.
to minimize its impact on website speed.
Okay, so are there specific things we can do
Yeah,
to make sure it's running as smoothly as possible?
absolutely. Wordfence has a lot of customizable settings.
Okay.
You don't necessarily need every single feature turned on all the time. For
Yeah.
example, you can adjust the frequency of scans
Okay.
or fine-tune the firewall rules to match your specific needs.
So it's about being strategic,
Yeah,
tailoring the settings
exactly.
to your website
To your website and your audience.
and your audience, right?
Precisely.
Now, if you're not comfortable tweaking those settings yourself,
Yeah,
now Technology System,
right.
they offer those support services.
They do.
They can help you optimize Wordfence.
For both security and performance.
Great advice. Sometimes it's just best to leave it to the experts.
Yeah, especially when it comes to something as important as website security.
Right now, speaking of experts,
Uh-huh.
I'm curious.
Yeah,
Now, Technology Systems, they clearly recommend Wordfence.
they do.
But are there other security plugins out there?
Yeah, there are other security plugins available.
Okay, and how does Wordfence stack up against the competition?
That's a great question. It's always good to explore your options.
Right.
Yes, there are other security plugins available for WordPress.
Okay.
Some are free, some are paid,
Mhm.
some are more specialized than others.
Right.
But what makes Wordfence stand out,
Yeah.
particularly for Australian businesses,
Okay.
is this combination of features, its ease of use.
Right.
And that local support from now technology systems.
Right. Having a local company
Yeah.
that understands the Australian digital landscape can be a huge advantage.
Huge advantage. They can provide tailored advice.
They can troubleshoot issues.
Mm-hmm.
They can even help you implement more advanced security measures if you need it.
It's like having a dedicated security team.
In your corner.
Yeah, in your corner.
Absolutely.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
It definitely gives me a sense of peace of mind
Yeah.
knowing that kind of support is available.
Absolutely.
Going back to the guide for a moment.
Yeah.
I'm curious about this live traffic feature
Yes.
that we discussed earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds incredibly useful.
It is.
But how do we use this information to actually enhance security?
Right.
It's all well and good seeing who's visiting our website.
Yeah.
But what actions can we take based on that data?
That's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
And where Wordfence goes beyond just being a passive security tool.
Right.
The live traffic feature isn't just about observation.
Okay.
It's about empowering you to take action.
Okay. Give me an example.
Right.
Let's say I'm looking at my live traffic report
Okay.
and I see a bunch of login attempts. Yeah.
From an IP address in a country I've never had visitors from before.
Right.
Red flag.
What should I do?
Wordfence allows you to block specific IP addresses.
Okay.
So in that case, you could immediately block that suspicious IP address,
Okay.
preventing any further login attempts from that source.
So it's about being proactive
Exactly.
and responding to those potential threats in real time.
You're not just waiting for something bad to happen. You're
Yeah.
actively monitoring your site,
Right.
taking steps to mitigate risks.
Okay. And you can also set up alerts.
You can.
So Wordfence notifies you
Yes.
if there's any unusual traffic patterns.
Right, or any suspicious activities.
So that means you can react quickly.
Yeah, even if you're not constantly checking the live traffic feed.
I'm really starting to see how powerful this tool can be
It's powerful.
in the hands of a small business owner.
Absolutely.
It's not about setting it and forgetting it.
No, it's about actively engaging
Yeah.
with your website security.
Exactly. And it's not just about reacting to threat. No.
It's about understanding your traffic patterns,
Yeah.
identifying vulnerabilities.
For instance, let's say you notice a sudden spike in traffic
Right.
from a specific country,
Yeah.
and it coincides with some slow loading times on your website.
Okay.
That could indicate a possible DDoS attack
Right.
where hackers are trying to overwhelm your server with traffic.
So by understanding normal traffic patterns,
Yeah,
we can more easily spot anomalies
exactly.
that could be signs of trouble.
It's about being aware of what's normal for your website so you can quickly identify anything that's out of the ordinary.
Okay, I want to shift gears for a moment
Okay.
and talk about something that I think a lot of small business owners might be wondering.
Okay.
Is all this security stuff really necessary for a small website?
That's a common misconception.
If I'm just running a simple online shop,
Mm.
am I really a target for hackers?
Hackers aren't just targeting big corporations or government websites.
Okay.
They're looking for any vulnerability they can exploit. And small businesses are often seen as easy targets
Why is that?
because small businesses often have limited resources dedicated to cybersecurity.
Right.
They might not have the budget for expensive security software or a dedicated IT team.
Yeah.
Hackers know this,
Yeah.
and they take advantage of it.
So it's almost like they're going for the low-hanging fruit.
Exactly. They're looking for websites with weak passwords, outdated software, unpatched vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
And the damage they can inflict can be just as devastating for a small business as it is for a large corporation.
Right. If your website gets hacked, you could lose customer data,
Oh, yeah.
financial information, your entire online presence.
It's all gone.
Yeah. And the reputational damage can be irreparable.
Yeah. Customers might lose trust in your business if they feel like their data isn't safe.
So the message is clear.
What's that?
No matter how small your business,
Mm-hmm.
website security is not something you can afford to ignore.
Absolutely. It's an investment in the future of your business. And it's one of the most important steps you can take to protect your hard work
Right.
and your customers' trust.
Okay, well said.
Thank you.
Now, I know we've been focusing a lot on Wordfence,
Yeah.
but I want to zoom out a bit
Okay.
and talk about some broader security best practices
Right.
that every website owner should be aware of.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
What are some of the essential things that we should be doing
Yeah.
to keep our website secure, regardless of whether we're using Wordfence
Okay.
or any other specific plugin?
One of the most fundamental things you can do is keep your WordPress core software themes and plugins up to date.
Okay.
this might seem like a no-brainer,
Right.
but you'd be surprised how many websites are running outdated software,
Right.
making them vulnerable to attacks.
Yeah. I guess it's easy to put off updates,
It is.
especially if everything seems to be working fine.
Right.
But you're saying those updates are crucial.
Crucial for security.
Security, right?
Absolutely.
It's like locking your doors and windows. It's a basic but essential step
Yep.
to keep the bad guys out.
Exactly.
Okay, what else should we be doing?
Another important measure is to limit login attempts.
Okay.
This is especially important if you have multiple users on your website.
Right.
By limiting the number of times someone can try to log in with the wrong password,
Yeah.
you can prevent brute force attacks,
Right.
where hackers try to guess passwords by repeatedly trying different combinations.
Okay, so it's like putting a stop to those pesky telemarketers who keep calling.
Who keep calling even after you've told them you're not interested.
Yeah, exactly. And finally,
Yes.
and I can't stress this enough,
Please.
make sure you have a regular backup system in place.
Backup.
We talked about backing up before installing Wordfence.
Yeah,
But this sounds like something we should be doing on an ongoing basis,
absolutely.
not just a one-time thing.
Regular backups are your safety net,
Okay.
no matter how secure your website is.
Yeah.
There's always a chance that something could go wrong. Right.
A hacker could find a way in. Your server could crash.
Right.
You could accidentally delete important files.
So it's about being prepared for that worst case scenario.
Exactly. If you have regular backups, you can restore your website to a previous version
Yeah.
and minimize the damage.
Okay, backups are definitely going on my to-do list.
Good.
Now, I know we've covered a lot of ground today,
Yeah, we have.
but I feel like there's always more to learn
There is.
when it comes to website security.
Absolutely.
It's a constantly evolving landscape,
It is.
and it's easy to feel overwhelmed by all the information out there.
Absolutely. It can be a lot to take in,
Yeah,
especially for small business owners who are already juggling a million things.
exactly. So what advice would you give to our listeners
Mhm.
who are feeling a bit overwhelmed
Yeah.
but want to take control of their website security?
First and foremost, don't panic.
Okay.
Take a deep breath. And remember that you don't have to do everything at once.
Okay, so start small. Take it step by step.
What else can we do?
Focus on the fundamentals.
Okay.
Make sure you have strong passwords.
Right.
Keep your software updated.
Yeah.
Limit login attempts.
Uh-huh.
And have a backup system in place.
Okay.
Those are the foundational pillars
Right.
of good website security.
It's like building a house.
Yeah.
You need a solid foundation
You do.
before you can start adding those fancy features.
Exactly.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask for help.
No.
There are plenty of resources available,
There are.
including now technology systems
Right.
who can provide guidance and support.
Absolutely. It's like knowing you have a team of security experts in your corner
Yeah.
ready to help you navigate the digital landscape.
Exactly. And remember,
Yes.
website security is not a one-time task.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing process.
An ongoing process.
Stay informed, stay vigilant,
Stay vigilant.
and don't be afraid to reach out for help when you need it.
Ask for help.
Great advice. And on that note,
Yeah.
I think it's time for us to wrap up this part of our deep dive.
What's this?
Welcome back to our deep dive into Wordfence for Aussie small businesses.
We've covered a lot of ground, from understanding those specific cyber threats down under to setting up those key Wordfence features.
You've really helped us see how Wordfence isn't just about installing a plugin, but actively managing your website's security.
Right.
But I keep coming back to this idea from now technology systems,
Yeah.
how they describe Wordfence as a trusted guide.
Yeah.
It's not just about the tech, it's about the support too, right?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right.
Think about it. You're busy running your business.
Yeah.
Website security is essential,
Mm.
but it can also feel complex, like a whole other language sometimes.
Exactly. And that's where having that local expertise from
Yeah.
a company like Now Technology Systems makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
They can walk you through the tricky parts, help you optimize settings,
Yeah.
even handle those oh no moments if something does go wrong.
Right. It's like having a tech-savvy mate who's also a security expert.
Right.
Always there to answer your questions and make sure you're not making any rookie mistakes.
I like that.
That peace of mind is invaluable.
Yeah, especially for a small business owner.
Absolutely.
And I want to leave our listeners with something to ponder.
Okay.
Now, Technology Systems focuses heavily on security, which is crucial.
Uh-huh.
But they don't talk much about performance.
Right.
How do we make sure all this security doesn't slow our website down?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? You
Yeah.
want Fort Knox level security,
Yeah,
but you also want your website to be as fast as a kangaroo.
exactly.
And you know what? You can have both.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me how we achieve that.
It comes down to a few things.
Okay.
First, like we discussed, Wordfence itself is pretty lightweight
Yeah.
and optimized for speed,
Okay.
but there are always extra steps you can take.
Like?
Think about those settings we mentioned earlier.
Right.
You don't need every single bell and whistle turned on all the time.
Right.
Adjusting things like scan frequency or the aggressiveness of your firewall rules can make a difference.
So it's about finding that sweet spot between security and speed tailored to your specific website.
Exactly. And here's another tip.
Okay.
Caching.
Caching.
This is a technique where you store copies of your website's files.
Okay.
They load faster for repeat visitors.
So it's like having a shortcut.
It's like having a shortcut so your customers don't have to go through the entire security checkpoint every time.
I like that analogy.
Yeah.
So Wordfence optimized settings and caching.
Uh-huh.
Those are our key ingredients for a fast and secure website.
You got it.
Okay.
But here's the most important thing.
What's that?
Knowledge is power.
Okay.
The more you understand about your website, how it works, and the potential threats out there, the better equipped you'll be to make informed decisions about both security and performance.
So it's not about blindly following steps,
No.
but understanding the why behind everything we do.
And that's the beauty of this deep dive. We've gone beyond just the how-to of Wordfence. We've explored those broader concepts of website security, the unique challenges in Australia, and the strategies you can use to protect your business.
Well said.
Right.
So to our listeners, remember, website security is an ongoing journey, not a destination.
It is.
Stay curious, stay informed, and never stop learning.
Never stop learning.
And if you ever feel stuck or overwhelmed, don't hesitate to reach out for help.
Yeah, there are people out there who can help.
Our technology systems and other security experts are here to support you every step of the way.
Every step of the way.
That's it for this deep dive into Wordfence.
All right.
We hope you found it insightful and empowering.
Yeah, I hope you learned a lot.
Until next time, stay safe online.
And happy surfing.